We're now joined by Mr. Sam Omatseye, who is the chairman editorial board of the Nation Newspapers, as we continue our focus, reviewing the presidential media chat and some of the issues raised there. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Well, to start off with, we got people who, well, yes, at the moment, they think that for the fact that he spoke about the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Benin Road, how that government was going to intervene, and as of this morning, that announcement is out, they're intervening. So, putting their money where their mouth is something. Way to go. Good step so far. What do you think?
Put their money, we have to see the money first. You know, there's a movie, what's that, Goober Jr., Gooding Jr.
Gooding Jr., yep.
Show me the money. Maguire. People have not asked the question. Since he became president, even acting president, how many contracts have been announced? How many of those contracts can be verified in terms of implementation? So we don't just go to town and say, okay, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, we have now given the contracts to Julius Berger. Let's wait that Julius Berger will start working on that road before we say anything. Because we know that since he became president, I'm sure we have had up to $1 trillion naira worth of contracts announced from when the late Yaradua died to today. And if those contracts have actually been implemented till now, we will have seen the difference. We will have had evidence that something is going on. So let's not take it for granted. You might say he has been in power for 2 years, but we know that he has been in the saddle for about 3 years, more. And that's enough for us to have a sign that something is going on. Go around the country, go around all the federal roads. It's appalling. Even in Lagos here, you're going from Ota. I was coming from Abeokuta yesterday. I passed through the Ota road. This is a mess. If you're going to Ibadan, the whole thing is a mess from Lagos to Ibadan. It's a mess. You go to the East-West road that they've been talking about for ages, nothing is going on. Even it's become death traps to people.
Yeah, but
in the East, the complaint is all over the place. All the federal roads are bad. Some of them are taken up by the state governments. Even the Ekiti governor announced that he has spent close to 6 billion doing federal roads. He has not been paid back. So we don't really know what is going on. It is not announcement, it's implementation that we're talking about. You can see, look at Ekiti State, for instance, they have the lowest, one of the lowest allocations. Go and see Ado Ekiti. Within 2 years, what he has done in terms of roads and beautification and all of that.
Yeah, but
you have to have a sign that something is going on for us to take you seriously.
But
you don't have to come and just say, I've done this. It's good for you to make announcements.
Yeah, if they make this announcement, can they deliberately come forward, make this announcement, knowing that you got a lot of eye on this road, and then just go to sleep on the road?
Have they not made announcements like that in the past? We have very short memory. After a while, we'll start writing editorials saying, what happened to boycott? Boycotting, the whole thing, we made a lot of statements. It's not the first time he's making statements about Lagos Ibadan Expressway, where nothing happened. We hope that this will be different. I mean, for the sake of everybody, for the sake of safety on that road, for the sake of smooth traffic, commerce, communication, and all of that, we hope that something really happens on that road. But you know, if you take a list, I think it's right time everybody sat down, take a list of all the announcements of contracts that have been announced in the past 3 years. And let us find which of these have actually come to fruition. It is then you start to talk about gravity in business, gravity in government.
Perhaps that's what he aims to achieve. You remember, it was just less than 24 hours after he promised fixing the roads and electricity together, because I remember when he was asked that particular question on that night on Sunday, and just afternoon of Monday, less than 24 hours, he has already announced some measures with regards to the Ibadan-Lagos Expressway.
For the sake of everybody, that actually gets implemented. Because cynicism about government does not come from a cynical people. It comes from a cynical government. That when a government decides that if it makes announcement that itself is an end in itself, then people begin to say, well, it looks like we're not really connected. And that's what we see. It's entering Benin. Remember the present petroleum minister was in charge one time and wept openly there. It turned out to be one of the greatest dramas in Nigerian history. You know, nothing happened. So rituals, almost as if rituals are an end in themselves. So what we need to see is do something.
Well, it looks like, because as you say, well, they should do something, but for the Benin-Ore road, I want us to stay on that road a little. Well, we were there quite recently, and we saw that works is still on. But the question people have been asking, how long is so long for it to be fixed? Because they're still working there.
If you go to Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, you also see work going on there. What kind of work is that? Is it just what they call buju? Just let us give them the impression that we are working, you know. There's this expression in the scripture. It says, "Ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth." You keep going on in circles and going on in circles and going on in circles, like the myth of Sisyphus, the guy who is fitted to carry the rock up the hill, and when he's just about to get to the top of the hill, the rock falls down to the bottom, and then it starts over again and goes on. So when we talk about the Sisyphusian task, we're talking about a task that seems to be done but never really gets done.
I hope you won't be linking that with the fight against corruption and the Halliburton scam, which you also referred to on that night.
Yes, the Halliburton thing has been on for years, and almost as if it's a story, but that's not the only thing. It's
our last guest. Our last guest says EFCC has been working, and he's going to bring us a list of people behind bars.
We don't need a list. I heard him saying that we don't need a list. Everybody has the list of the marking names in their heads. You don't need a list. What list do you need? All the cases are usually announced in the papers, and then they come and then they go. So we don't need any list. Maybe the small fries. Small fries are usually, maybe they're talking about small fries who are expendable, who have no structure, cannot get lawyers to defend themselves, who cannot plea bargain, who cannot interfere with judiciary, who have no powers.
Aside from the prosecution, do you think there are other things government could do to discourage corruption?
It is example in government. Example for government, rule of law, and due process, things like that. Those are the important things that we need to, that can be done. I remember when reading about Awolowo's stewardship as head of Western Region, Premier Western Region. He will go to work and the car will be brought back to the office. Examples like that. Adebo, when he was in charge of the civil service in Western Region, the same thing. How things changed.